What's up, friends, and welcome to today's video. Today I want to talk about kind of how my relationship with food has evolved since competing and then post-competition and kind of where I'm at now. So basically, I'm just gonna jump right in. Right now it is August of 2018 and I did my very first NPC bikini competition last October 2017. And prior to that, I had been tracking macros for at least a couple years, I would say. So I'm super familiar with, proteins, carbs, fats, how food works and nutrition and all of that. I was familiar with how that worked for myself, and I knew that like prep would be hard, but I also knew that I could do it. So I go through my prep. My prep was 20 weeks, and I never skipped a beat. Like, I was literally on my plan the whole time. It never had an extra bite of anything. Like, very good at like the structure and discipline of prep. And I thrived on prep. Then, obviously, show day comes along and the whole weekend, like, you just eat whatever you want. Like, it's fine. It doesn't really matter. You've earned it. And a couple days off after that is not going to wreck your body. However, if you do continue to keep just binging, you can really damage your metabolism that way, or rebound like pretty bad. So a couple days late, I think, so show was on Saturday. I think I started tracking again on Tuesday. So Sunday and Monday, I just ate whatever I wanted, and it was a glorious time. But then Tuesday, I started my reverse diet. Now, I want to say, if you are someone who has ever had an eating disorder, personally, I have never had an eating disorder, and I, like, still to this day have never had an eating disorder, not even after competing or anything. But if you are someone who has ever struggled with an eating disorder and you want to compete, I would encourage you not to compete. Or if you are seriously passionate about competing, you need to be like years removed from the disordered eating, and you probably need to make sure that you're checking with like your doctor and any other health professionals to make sure that like this is something that you're ready for and something that you can do. Obviously, I feel like a lot of people put that disclaimer out there, but it seriously is so important, because even for people like myself who never had an eating disorder, your relationship with food will change. Like, it is inevitable, especially the first time you compete. I think as time goes on and you go through more dieting phases, the more like disciplined you can be, the more structured it is, and like you're fine. But the first time you go through this, your relationship with food will change. Your mentality and your feelings toward food, about food, around food will change, and for the worse, okay? Because when you're on prep, you can't really like go out to eat, you can't go to social things, and like some people can sit there with their friends and watch them eat and it's fine, and some people it's not fine. So it really just depends on the person, just like everything else in fitness. But I just figured I would share my experience, because I feel like I'm like the average girl, like, and I feel like not many people talk about this. So basically, like I said, I was perfect on prep, and then that weekend I like balled out, and then I started my reverse diet. And I think the first like week or so, the first few days, I was like pretty on it. Like, I remember being like very structured, like back on it. But then a day came along, probably within the first couple weeks after competing, where I was like, dude, I already hit my macros today, but like it doesn't matter if I have like an extra bite of this, because I'm not competing. Like, it doesn't matter, it won't affect me. And honestly, it just like became more and more, and like I would have nights where I would hit my macros, and then I would just eat like a bite of this and a bite of this and a bite of this and a bite of this, like literally upwards of like 10 to 15 different things, because I just wanted it. And I was like, it doesn't matter anymore what I eat, because I'm not competing, I'm not on prep. And your body is like so fragile at that point in time. Like, it cannot handle all that extra food like every single day. It just can't. Your body doesn't discriminate calories. Like, in your mind, you might think like, okay, I already hit all my macros. Okay, body, take these macros. And then you'll think, but these ones don't count, so like you don't do anything with those. Your body doesn't know the difference. Your body takes them in and processes them the only way it knows how. And at that point, your metabolism is very downregulated, so it doesn't know how. It doesn't know how to process all those extra calories. So those little bites here and there, they add up. They really do, especially when you're eating sweets and like calorically dense foods like cookies and candy and things like that, like those are so calorically dense. Like it'd be different if I was eating like a whole cucumber every night. You know what I mean? Like that would be a different battle. But after being on prep for so long and like restricted from certain foods, all you want are those foods. It's kind of like when you tell yourself not to think about something, then that's all you think about. You know what I mean? So after 20 weeks, again, like that's just a very long time to be restricted, and that's why this sport is so difficult. And I respect people who can just absolutely kill the game, but I promise you, even the girls that are on that Olympia stage, they are not perfect. Their first preps were not perfect, and their last preps probably weren't perfect. Like I said, I do think it gets easier with time, because I have been through a prep and then another cutting phase, and I was so much better on my second cutting phase and my second reverse diet. Like I didn't estimate anything. I was like on point, but that's because I'm someone who really thrives on structure, which is why bodybuilding works for me and competing works for me. So I know it's only going to get better from here, but that doesn't mean I just get to sweep the first time under the rug and just not talk about it, because like if you want to compete, this is going to be something that you're going to go through. Like 99% of people are going to go through this. It's just the way that it goes with like food and your mentality, because there's a lot of emotion tied to food, and it's really hard to remove emotion from food when that's all you've ever known, aka you've never prepped before, or you just kind of don't really understand what it's like and how nutrition affects your body and like how your feelings are going to affect you. So I just wanted to put that out there that like, yeah, I went through a time where I was like, I want everything. I want higher macros. Like every single week I was like, please increase my food. Please increase my food. All I want is more food. And like, I wasn't eating because I was hungry. I was eating because I was bored. I felt deprived. I felt like I needed to get it in at that moment. And that's why I also want to share like some tips that have worked for me and helped. But the bottom line, which I'll get to the tips in a second, but the bottom line is like, it will get better. You will come down off of the bad relationship with food. Like, you really, truly will, especially if you implement these tips I'm about to tell you, because they can just kind of speed up the process. So the first thing is, there's a time and a place for more food or for free meals, like special occasions and things like that, when your body is ready. And this is where I very highly advocate for a coach, especially, if you competed, you likely have a coach. And they should be taking you through a proper reverse diet. And if they are not, or they just abandon you, hit me up, because I got you, okay? I love taking people through reverse diets. I think reverse diets are literally, like, for some reason, the best kept secret. But there's more discussion on them now, so that is good. But a reverse diet is literally your first step after being in a dieting phase for so long. So once you can work your metabolism back up and your body can handle more food, then you can get away with a few more bites here and there. But even then, you really should try to not fall into the habit of like taking a few extra bites here and there, because they do add up, like I said. So that's the first thing. Remember that there's a time and a place, and that food will always be there, okay? Like if you are fortunate enough to compete, that means you have the financial means to compete and buy food, and that you likely live a lifestyle that, food is in abundance. It's not an issue for you to get food. So remember that food will always be there. You don't have to just like slam it all right now, because there's a time and a place, and it will come, like it will happen. It is inevitable. It will happen. You can work your food back up, and you can have those free meals, and you can have whatever you want in due time. Respect your body for the long run, to stay disciplined, maybe just a few more weeks until, you're ready. Another thing is, think about your why. Like, why? So the whole time that you were prepping or dieting, why were you dieting? Okay, so obviously there's like the surface level, like, oh, so I can look good, or so I can like feel better in a pair of jeans. But like, what's below that? Like, think about, do you want to be around for your kids for as long as possible? Do you want to be able to like crawl around on the ground with them? You want to be overall healthy and well enough to be around for your family in the long run. And maybe you don't have kids, but maybe, you have really close friends or like nieces and nephews, and like there's got to be a deeper reason why, you know what I mean? So for me, prepping for a show, obviously the surface level was like, oh, I want to get shredded. That's everybody. But the deeper level was like, I want to see if I can do something that's very, very difficult. And I did it, and like it was so worth it, and it felt amazing. So Reverse dieting is a little bit harder because you don't really have like the stage in mind or anything like that. So you kind of have to think like, again, overall health and wellness. Like, I want to be healthy, I want to live a long time, I want longevity, I want to feel good inside. Just, you really have to think about that. And then as soon as you have your why, think about your how. So how are you going to get to where you want to be? How are you going to reach those goals? So if it's reverse dieting and it's working your metabolism up, how do you get there? Well, you slowly increase your calories. That doesn't mean eating cheesecakes for breakfast every day. That doesn't mean a dirty bulk. That doesn't mean binging over and over and over again. That means a structured reverse diet, okay? So if you can just think about, why am I doing what I'm doing and how am I going to get there? You are always one decision away from like getting closer to your goals. One good decision. Let's say you went out for lunch, even though you didn't plan to, and you might have eaten something that like you didn't really plan to eat or track. Just like, you cannot trash the rest of the day, right? So the next time you have an opportunity to eat or go work out or like do something healthy, whatever your next opportunity is, even if it's filling up your freaking water jug, like, make that healthy decision and then you're right back on track. You know what I mean? It's seriously, I know, I get it. Like, it's so easy to say like, well, I already screwed up today, so I'm going to throw the rest of the day in the trash. It's so easy to do that. And that adds up too. Just like I was telling you, the calories, they add up. Your body does not discriminate between calories that you want to count, like in your macros, and calories that you don't want to count. Like, oh, these just don't matter. Your body doesn't know the difference, like I was saying. So just remember, you are always one decision away from being closer to your goals, and you absolutely are so capable of it because you just dieted for how long and you killed it. You know what I mean? And even if you weren't perfect on your diet or your prep, you still did the damn thing. Like, you are capable of so much more than you think. And it's so easy for us to get inside our heads. And like, part of it is out of our control. Like I was saying, after you've been dieting for so long, part of you just wants to go nuts and like eat everything. And that's okay for like a couple of days. But you really have to get back into it because the rest of it is in your control. Again, think back to your why and think back to your how. And then go ahead and remember that food is always going to be there. Like, for me, for a long time, when I had free meals, I was taking advantage of them, like eating way more than I should have, like just going hard with food because I felt like I had to. And honestly, like, looking back, that sucked. Like, I would eat, I never made myself sick, but like, I would eat and I was uncomfortable because I was just eating too much. And I was eating because I was bored. Like, I wasn't eating because I was hungry. It was just like, oh my gosh, if you know, it's just like you get out of control and you're like, I want it all and I'm going to do it and I don't care. Well, that adds up and it will catch up to you. And luckily, I never was like seriously screwed up. Like, I never like went so hard and like rebounded or anything. Obviously, I have a very great coach. He kept me between the ditches. We executed a reverse diet, and here I am now. I've been through another cutting phase, and I'm now reverse dieting into another bulking phase, and I feel so different toward food. Like, I just feel so much better about it. Like, there are days where I'm like, man, I cannot hit my macros today because it's just so much food, and I'm not even near where I was at the height of my bulk. So I'm like, okay, this is good. I don't feel like I need to just go ham with food. I have not binged once. Not once since maybe those few weeks after prep, so like 2017. Maybe beginning of 2018. I feel so much better, and the only the only reason I can think of is mainly time, because it's been a long time. Another one is growth. I see the big picture now, and for my goals, which include competing again, I need to stay in control, I need to stay structured, and I need to, be in like a conservative caloric surplus, a conservative bulk, because the next time I prep, I don't want to have to lose like a ton of body fat, you know what I mean? And there's a way to do that. That's what a proper reverse diet does. It packs on muscle with minimal fat gain. Obviously, some fat gain is inevitable, but there's a way to control it. Do it in a controlled manner. Otherwise, you're really just going to screw yourself over metabolism-wise, hormone-wise. Just all your systems are going to be all out of whack because you went from super lean to literally super fat. Like, Sometimes it happens, but it's not always because the person is binging. There can be other medical reasons, like hormonal reasons, digestive issues, like I was saying, maybe immune issues. It can be a whole slew of issues. So don't look at a girl who gained a lot of weight post-show and assume it's because she binged. That's absolutely like not true for everyone. I just wanted to put that out there. But like I said, I think that's basically it. Like, I just want y'all to know, like, you will come down off it. It just takes time, it takes growth, and then, like I mentioned, remembering your why and remembering your how. So, like I said, I see the big picture now, and I'm like, yo, if I want to be where I want to be, that means day in and day out, I have to do what I know is the protocol, like what's right, what's the structure. And I just don't even feel the desire to, like, go hard with foods. Like, I have a really bad sweet tooth, and I can enjoy like a dessert without having to eat the whole thing. Like, I can go to a restaurant and not clean my plate now, and that, I never thought I would be back to that. Like, I truly did not. And I'm so glad that I'm finally here again, because it just feels so much better. So I'm here to tell you, you know, it will get better and it will work itself out. You will come down, like I keep saying, and I just wanted to share that because, first of all, I know a lot of people don't talk about it. Second of all, I did have a request for this video, so I'm hoping even if this helps one person, then it's worth it. Or maybe it'll help someone in the future. Maybe you haven't gone through this yet, but you know this video exists now and you can refer back to it if you do end up going through something like this. So this is not just restricted to competitors. It's obviously for anyone who has gone through a dieting phase or struggles with, you know, like binge eating or anything like that. However, I am not putting myself out here as a healthcare professional in terms of disordered eating or anything like that. I just thought I would share, you know, my real life practical tips, what I've done to get through it, what I went through, what I felt like, and where I am now. So I know this video is super long, but I hope I covered everything. I did not like do an outline or anything. I just kind of riffed. I just kind of did off the cuff, but that's how I like to film my kind of more informational videos. I like to just speak from the heart. So hopefully this resonated with you. Hopefully some of these can help you if you're someone who really does need help. And of course, I have to put the disclaimer out there, if you really do struggle with an eating disorder, please seek professional help. I am a huge advocate for that. There's nothing wrong with that. And the first, you know, step is realizing, like, okay, maybe I need to lean on someone, or I need some other advice. So don't even sweat it. You don't even have to tell anyone if you're trying to get professional help for, you know, binge eating or disordered eating or whatever. So yeah, I just figured I would put all that out there, but I think I'm gonna cut it here since it's so long. As always, if you watched until now, I appreciate you so much. And just so you know, my DMs on Instagram are always open, or you can email me. All my information is in the description box, and I want y'all to know that I'm not just like some fitness girl. Like, I'm here to listen. I'm here as like a fellow sister if you need help with anything. So just let me know if that's the case. And yeah, if you could give the video a thumbs up and subscribe before you leave, that would be dope. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.
Take a look past the innocence.